definitely. Summer is still this void.
Yeah, it's a summery void at the moment, but it's okay. We've had some news about a certain enlightening console.
Oh yes.
Is this how this hour's gonna go?
Most definitely. How many puns can we get into this?
Shall we illuminate the subject?
Allow me to switch on the light. Switch.
Oh, fascinating.
What could we be talking about?
Yeah, what are we talking about, guys?
The light switch.
Nintendo Light Switch. All right.
Right. My biggest question about this, to be honest with you, is advertising for Nintendo, right? Is like, if you look at all their advertising, like even their press conferences, like they do this whole, like they do the snap thing because like the parts, the Joy-Cons snap on to the Switch, you know, like even like the logo of the Switch, like has the Joy-Cons on it. Right, like so this thing is like so different. I mean, it's the same, essentially the same shape, but it doesn't have Joy-Cons. Like it has a controller built onto the thing, and it doesn't have it's not a Switch anymore, right? It's like the Switch it could switch between a home console and a to-go console. This can't do that. It's only a to-go console.
The sound effect, therefore, for the logo should now be the sound effect of like the disgruntled person who's trying to take the Joy-Con off but doesn't quite know how to do it, and it's like.
Yeah,
it's the sound effect of one hand clapping. It's just maybe they can use the sound effect of a light switch, like flipping a light switch.
Like but it's not working. Like you know, when you're trying to figure out.
True.
No,
maybe it's just like pure silence.
Those dial ones that you can like dim the lights with.
There's a little bit of a hum that's coming out of there though, because like the way the electricity is.
Those always make me nervous.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are the worst.
Why is it so warm?
So yeah, it is a little strange that they're essentially taking away all the charm of what the Switch is, right?
Yeah,
some of it.
Well,
I mean, I think what they're trying to do is like, because I mean, it's weird because it's always been marketed as a portable and a home console, right? It is one of them, you know, it is both things, and it's partly why they did so well, because I think towards the end of the Wii U generation, we kind of started to see that Nintendo have always been dominant in the handheld space. They've always been king there. And then they've, you know, towards the end of like Wii U, you could clearly see that like home console kind of wasn't really working for them. So this like amalgamation of two was like the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
But I guess what they're seeing, and I mean, you know, for the most part, it is still largely speaking is portable. I take it with me all the time. It goes like you just throw it in your bag. But I think there's still a degree of people, you know, there's obviously like a portion of people that still maybe it's a bit too big to be portable. There's an interesting thing. So one of my friends who is in Japan, another like YouTuber called Gaijin Hunter, covers like Monster Hunter quite a lot. He actually commented on this. Like, so back in the day when like 3DS was most prevalent, you would see it all the like everywhere in Japan. I know Japan's, you know, just one place, but like in Japan specifically, you would go on the train and everyone's got a 3DS, like, you know, businessmen, children, mothers, like husbands, anything like that. Everyone would just have it. And then when the Switch came out, he said like he very rarely ever sees a Switch anywhere and people like if he pulls a Switch out to like use it on a train, sometimes people look at him as if sort of like think, you know, what is this odd device? Because it's quite big when you compare it to a 3DS.
Right.
So from his perspective, like from like, you know, his daily commute and everything that he used to see, he mentioned how like he saw this drastic just drop in, like everyone just walking around with handheld consoles. So on one hand, I suppose from a Japanese market, maybe this may all be the thing that restores the portable gaming kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Is it though, like the dimension wise, small enough to be like a 3DS?
It's not. Obviously, it's still bigger than 3DS, but like there's like if you put them because they released the dimensions, when you put them on top, it does seem to be noticeably smaller. It's not just like a tiny thing. I think I wonder if I can find the picture somewhere. But yeah,
there's smaller. It's not 3DS small, and it's not a clamshell, so it doesn't like protect itself. Real quick, let's go through like the features of this thing. Right?
Yeah.
Sure, it's gonna be a smaller version of the Switch console. It's not going to be able to hook up to a TV, and the Joy-Cons don't come off, but it has an actual D-pad on the left-hand side as opposed to kind of the 4 buttons separated that most people use as a D-pad. It's gonna have better battery life. The screen is slightly smaller, but the same resolution. It's going to come in a few different colors at launch. I think blue, yellow, and gray. And then they've already announced like a Pokemon Special Edition, which is actually really good looking. It's
really
white.
nice.
It's white with like the buttons and joystick on the left hand side are like cyan, and the buttons in the joystick on the right hand side are kind of magenta. Almost look like printer ink. Like if you imagine those colors as printer ink, like it's really, really cool looking. But I mean, it's got some real compromises, right? You can't hook it up to your TV, so it's only a portable system now. You can't take the Joy-Cons off, so anything like 1-2 Switch that required you to do that, you'd have to buy extra Joy-Cons to do that stuff with. I don't know that a lot of games support that, though, to be honest with you. It doesn't have a kickstand, so you can't like set it on a table and kind of play, in that way. But it is smaller, it is lighter. The battery life is going to be better. It is running on a new processor. It's not a significantly faster processor, but it's a more power efficient processor.
Longer battery
and also
life.
Doesn't have to charge the Joy-Cons, so like that should contribute to battery life as well.
Interesting.
Did I miss anything?
720p.
I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, it's still 720, which is nice. It's nice they didn't compromise like the visuals. That you're not actually having to take a step down, so it's not like a lesser Switch in that respect. It's more just
I mean, it looks like they saw that people really like using Switch as a portable platform, and then wanted to fill in the market with that. We're just purely interested in the portable side of it. Which
also it's $200, which is like $100 cheaper than the Switch.
Yeah, that's big. Yeah. That's definitely big for a lot of people who've been on the edge. That might be enough to push them, so they can actually play some of those games. I guess for me, it's a tough call because it doesn't seem as attractive as like a 3DS. 3DS was like a nice little like pocket console that I feel like I could just toss in my back pocket or throw in my bag or something like that. The I don't know if it's bigger than that. I don't know if I'd have that same feeling of that where you kind of have to make time and space for that console for like for
I kind of have the same reaction, Tefty. Is I kind of when I saw it, I was like, that's a little bit disappointing. I was kind of hoping for a more like a Nintendo-ish designed portable console where we've seen like the Game Boy Advance. What was the SP where it had the clamshell design? The DS had the clamshell design. The 3DS had the clamshell. Like we kind of saw that, and what those consoles created was a really convenient way. You didn't have to buy all sorts of protection for them. You could just throw them in a backpack or like you said, back pocket and take them with you, and then pull them out when you wanted to play with them. This thing's got an exposed screen. It's got exposed buttons. So you're definitely going to want to, like, if you're going to throw it in a backpack, you're probably going to want to buy some protection for it, like a case or a screen protector at the very least. Yeah.
And automatically, that's just way more than bigger. I'm interested in.
Yeah.
No,
seems like a missed opportunity in that way.
Yeah, I definitely see your point. I mean, they could have, I mean, I'm not sure exactly like how they would have done it, but like could have potentially put some kind of inbuilt flap that kind of protects it. I mean, maybe they'll sell that as like because there's already on the existing what is it? The existing Switch. There's like a case you can get that kind of mirrors those ones you get for the iPads that like clip on the top and they magnetize them over the front. So I guess if you want to try and sort of keep that small form factor, but I mean, you're having to then buy something extra. So I get what you mean. It's because, but I suppose to a degree, it's almost like this Nintendo Switch Lite is not replacing the 3DS per se. It's more replacing the 2DS. Because the way that I see it is, how when they release the 2DS, it's much more like, if you've got a kid and you want to give them your 3DS, obviously, and it's just say that they're young, they don't really get it, and they potentially could break the screen. So, you give them a chunky, like, cheese block 2DS, like, you can throw that thing at the wall, and it just doesn't matter, right? Like, they can pick it up. It's got an exposed screen, but ultimately, it's very accessible. And I guess to a degree, this is, despite, their marketing campaign, clearly marketing to like skaters and people that hang around in skate parks. The like clearly it's I think it's
Nintendo's core demographic.
Exactly right. But I think it's more so for like those people that think, my son, my daughter, you potentially like a little bit younger wants to like play with this. But when you think about the Nintendo Switch having the removable Joy-Cons, okay, they're quite sturdy, but maybe this is supposed to sort of fill that void. So I guess in that respect, it's not necessarily supposed to appeal to us as much. I guess where it feels is like there's the two main voids. It's either for the younger audience or it's for the people, like you said, like if they haven't picked up a Switch at all and it's a cheaper price point, and and they're like, oh, I'm not really considering playing at home. Like I just want something so I can play on the go. Like maybe they might think, oh, it's only a couple $100. So I think they're the two main things, because like I just pulled up the picture afterwards. Like if you picture the current Nintendo Switch and just take one Joy-Con off, that's basically the width of the Switch Lite. So it's actually quite noticeable. I guess you're losing like nearly 2 inches, which takes it to probably just slightly wider than the 3DS, and I guess to a degree probably similar in width to the PS Vita. So it is going to be quite portable. In that respect, and when you factor in, I mean, obviously it's going to be bigger than that, but when you factor in how big some like cell phones have got now, like some of the iPhone XL, like the massive ones, they're almost like small tablets in your hands, right? So I think the discrepancy in size between those two isn't going to be so big that you potentially could. I mean, not that I want to put it in my pocket if it's got an exposed screen, but yeah, I think that's probably where it sort of fills the void. And the weird thing is, like, okay, admittedly, I've got massive Nintendo bias. Like Nintendo could release anything and I'll buy it, so I'm buying it regardless, right? But I think the interesting thing for that is that Doug Bowser also mentioned that they are working on a way to allow people to like easily transfer data between systems. So I feel like if they did that, even though I do take my Nintendo Switch everywhere with me, I'd probably be more inclined to be like, all right, I'm going to make this as purely my travel console when I go to events, and I'll just be like, all right, I'm going to play Zelda, let me quickly transfer my data over, bosh, done, throw it in my bag, and then I have the other one as like purely my home console. That's kind of where I think I'd use it.
That makes sense, for sure. It just some of the conveniences of the Switch are lost, like being able to do the kickstand. Like you can have a controller that's separate and sit back and have the kickstand with the Switch on a plane, all self-contained in the Switch. You don't have to buy additional adapters. And if you're like looking at the $200 price tag, but then you're thinking, well, I need an extra device to do the kickstand and a case and all that stuff, like suddenly it's getting closer to the actual price of a Switch.
Admittedly, I rarely use that kickstand. Like even on a plane, I end up putting my elbows on the tray table and like hold it up here. Otherwise, I feel like my neck hurts from like staring down at the tray table the whole time.
I've used it quite a bit, actually. The kickstand type of thing, in portable mode. But
I don't know. Even if I was to give this to a child, like I'd still be concerned about it with the exposed screen. It's also got like still cooling, right? Like open holes for cooling. And that to me is risky business handed to a child, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Like I wonder, do we know if it's going to have active cooling, like a fan in it, or is it just vented and like open to air? Actually,
I'm assuming it's just vented, right?
The current Switch has a fan in it, right?
Does it?
I
don't think so. I think it's just vented.
No. Yeah, I don't hear any too much noise when it's going.
No, I don't either.
Yeah, I've never heard a fan out of there. Are they still making DS games? Has there been any new DS games recently?
Not from Nintendo.
Don't think so. No, I think they're gradually starting to phase out. Because wasn't there? I think there was an announcement a little while ago where they said they were basically phasing out like the 3DS because it's coming towards the end of its life. Sure. I think there's still a few things you see popping up here and there. Like obviously had like the remaining like Luigi game like last year or something. So there's like a few kind of stragglers, but I think they're basically going in that direction. And I imagine that once the kind of Switch Lite comes out and they start doing that proper switch over, they'll probably come that hard cut where it's like it's done, it's finished.
Okay, so
I mean they still sell it new in stores,
right?
And there's like a million games for it.
Yeah, it's a huge library. Obviously, they've sold just absolute scads of DSs over its lifetime, so the library is definitely big. This makes perfect sense for them on a business side of like, okay, you have the Switch, which is a great console, and then you have the DS market, and like. I see this as a bridge towards the DS market. It's just I feel like it doesn't quite check all the boxes for a dedicated DS user. You know, like I guess that's what I see. It's like if you're a hardcore 3DS user or DS user, you want that thing to be like very convenient, and I don't know if that fits in the convenience side just yet. So maybe it's like next year they'll have an even further 3DS-ish. Or DS-ish, like clam style type of thing that they would still use the Switch operating system. Yeah, and so like the library would carry over across everything. Yeah, so it's unified, but you have various devices that go from ultra portable to it's in your living room and also in your lap and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Possible.
we could definitely expect for Nintendo to release multiple iterations of the Nintendo Switch over the next decade.
Yeah.
Right? Like that is
I feel like
definitely gonna happen.
Yeah,
The
I
Switch
feel like
does
the
have
other
a
one-
cooling fan in it. I just looked it up.
It does. I've
It
never
does.
heard it
Okay.
before. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must be like super.
It might only work in docked mode, and that's why it overclocks when it's in docked mode.
That makes sense. That's why you don't hear it when you're actually plugging it or holding it. Yeah.
But here's my
Which
one gripe with the Switch Lite,
Yeah.
right?
Tell me.
This
How-
is clickbait.
Let
Eric's
it out.
has a gripe with a Nintendo product.
Why Eric
know,
hates
right?
Nintendo.
Oh, no.
That's the title of this video.
Oh,
Here it
my
comes.
God.
Here we go, right? So they announced the Switch Lite, and I was like, because I was on the train at the time, so I missed the announcement. I caught up on it. I was scrolling through, and then I saw some pictures. I was like, "There's a yellow one." I was like, "There's a green one." I was like, "They're going to release these in all these different colors."
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, all right, let me just go to the website. Let me find the red one. I'll scroll through these pages. I'm like, all right, yellow, turquoise. Where's the red one at? So no, maybe it's on the next page. Go to the next page. Gray. I'm like, Nintendo. What have you done here? How have you not released a Nintendo Switch Lite in your Nintendo Red? Like,
That's weird.
it's Mario. It's Nintendo. Like, it would be an instant. I mean, okay, maybe it's because I love red too much, but like, come on, man.
It's like
I think
not
you're gonna have
calling
to
it the
wait
Light
till
Switch.
Mario Odyssey 2. The special edition that
Basically,
comes with
yeah.
Mario Odyssey 2.
Yeah, exactly.
And here begins the vicious cycle, because I think back to like 3DS. I had my 3DS at first, then when they started releasing, the newer models of the 3DS ones, the ones that almost had the nice seamless close, that sort of the white and orange one. I then ended up buying like 2 of those just in different color combinations. I completely don't need them, but I'm like, well, now this is a cool color combo, and here begins. I already buy every single Joy-Con color, and now I'm clearly going to be buying multiple Nintendo Switch Lites that I won't need just because they're in cool colors. So, Nintendo, you might as well take my wallet now. I'll set up a direct debit. Just send me all the new stuff, because it's just an easier way to do it. But yeah, no red. I feel like I'm going to get the Pokemon one. But someone raised an interesting
The
point.
Pokemon looks good.
That does look very good. However, I feel like they would have announced it by now, but it also released on the same day as Link's Awakening Remaster. And they've done
Yeah, there's no Zelda one.
Yeah, so unless they're keeping it close to their chest, or unless they're holding it for like when they release Breath of the Wild 2 and they want to do that.
Okay.
So either way, whenever that happens, take my money.
Interesting. Huh.
I mean, why wouldn't they just kind of keep creating special editions, just like they've done in the past with previous consoles? And frankly,
I'm sure they've been
like,
super successful.
Another thing that is strongly rumored based on patent filings for Nintendo is that there is going to be a full-size Switch with upgraded hardware. They may not market it, and they may not say anything about it, but this processor they're putting in the Lite Switch, it's strongly rumored that this is also going to go in the full-size Switch, because it runs cooler. And it'll get better battery life.
Is this going to be like a legit upgrade, or is it just going to be kind of like a PS4
Probably,
Pro to
no,
a
it
PS...
won't have any extra features. Like, it won't run faster. It'll probably be like kind of like one of those things where like an Xbox 360 comes out and like midway through they refresh the hardware, so there's a different motherboard and a smaller die size processor, but they don't they don't come out and say, oh, this is a new Xbox 360.
PS4 Slim type of thing.
Yeah, I would imagine. There might not even be a change to the external appearance of it.
Gotcha. Okay.
But what I do want to see eventually, I'd love to see, is like a new Switch where they actually do upgrade the processor to a faster processor.
Switch up.
A Switch up.
Hey,
I like it.
that's the one.
Because that would be really nice to get like slightly better graphics, because we're now going to come up on in 2020 we're going to come up on the PS5 and the next version of the Xbox.
Exactly. Yeah.
And like I think the Switch does fine for what it is, right? I don't have a problem with it, but that graphical parity is just going to get wider and wider.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on the title. So because like, if they lean heavily into the highly stylized type of games, like Breath of the Wild, I'm okay with them using.
Yeah.
But for Nintendo titles, but for like games like Bloodstained, where it came out on other consoles and looked fantastic, but then everybody was waiting for the Switch title the Switch version because they wanted to play it on portable, and then it was kind of it wasn't a good situation. Like,
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, true.
a little more processing power might help out, even with a 2D side-scrolling game like a Castlevania game.
Yeah, that's rough, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everyone should just make their games based on Nintendo Switch, and then it'd be great.
You're right. That should be the primary development
Exactly
platform,
right.
and then just build up from
like,
there.
Look at that. Don't worry, PS4 guys, they'll no longer be able to say, "Hey, my game looks better." Like, nope. Just play it portable. There we go. I promise Nintendo not paying me.
Oh man.
All right. So you guys gonna buy this thing or not?
No.
I think Eric's. You already said yes.
I have pre-ordered mine.
Which color?
Well,
The not red version.
I've tentatively held yellow, and also grey.
Really?
And then I'm waiting for the Nintendo Switch Pokemon one to come out. And I'm holding the pre-orders, and then I'll cancel the ones that I don't want. Or what probably
3
happen.
pre-orders now. I mean,
Well,
come on. Just
I
one more
have
pre-order
to.
and you get the full set.
Yeah.
I don't want turquoise. Get out of here.
No
That's not
turquoise.
a real
Really?
color. Oof, that's
I like that.
no
I think
way.
if I order one, it'll be the turquoise one. I like that.
Think
one
about
the
this.
best.
Just think about this. You could be in a green screen using the turquoise and green screen out part of the Switch.
Ooh,
It would
now
look like
we're
I've got a
talking.
floating screen like Minority Report.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
But then I could just green screen the yellow.
Ooh, yellow's tough. It's getting close to skin tones.
Ooh.
Yeah.
True.
So
Oh, but then it could even be even better because then you wouldn't see my hands, and then it would look like floating buttons on a screen. Look at
That's
the
true.
stream. That would be like VR. I'd be like, guys, welcome to the VR headset.
Right? Nintendo finally gets into VR.
Imagine that. But yeah, I've tentatively got that on pre-order. As soon as the Pokemon one goes up, I'll do that. I then just need to make sure I don't do what I often do and forget to cancel the pre-orders, and then
Ooh.
3 Nintendo Switches start up at my door.
uh,
It'd be bad.
Mhm.
I feel like you're not that disappointed though if that happens.
Not really. It also happens with games because invariably there's like a little mini collector's edition that happens on Nintendo Store. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just hold that for now, and then I'm like, I forget that I bought it on Amazon, and then I'm like,
Shows up, yeah.
but whatever.
Yeah.
Nintendo can have my money.
Tefty, you're definitely not getting this thing.
No, I already have a Switch. I have no desire for again, it's not portable enough to feel like it's an afterthought. So I still have to think about how I'm going to store it, what pocket and all that stuff. So it's just, I'd rather just deal with the regular Switch, which is already great.
I'm definitely getting one of these, partially because I have 2 sons who, we all 3 of us share one Switch now. So just having an extra Switch around is just going to, be more convenient for the whole family.
That's a perfect solution right there.
Also, having it be slightly more portable when I do travel will be nice. And that D-pad, I am sold on that D-pad because I really don't like the buttons that they're using now.
I hope following that they do release some official Joy-Con, because I know you can mod a Joy-Con to have a D-pad now.
Yeah.
But I know there's some of the third-party ones you can buy without a battery that has it. Yeah. But I hope they release some, because one of the interesting things that baffled me for a while. I'm not sure whether they did this because they're changing hardware or whatnot. But at launch, they released so many different Joy-Con colors. They also released 3 different Pro controllers, and then suddenly they just stopped. Like no more Joy-Con colors, no more Pro controllers. And I thought, there were so many perfect games for why was there not there was obviously a Mario Odyssey Joy-Con, but why were there not Joy-Cons for Mario Maker? Why was there not a special Pro controller for some of the other games that come in, like Astral Chain? It just seems weird that they suddenly stopped. So unless behind the scenes they're doing it because they're revising them and they're going to release a Switch Pro that has a Pro controller 2 or slightly revised Joy-Cons. But yeah, it's just weird how because hey, there we go, right? Yeah, that. But but that all that stuff. I just think to myself, that's printing money, right? I bought all the Joy-Cons, I bought all the Pro controllers, and it just seems strange that there was this big hard stop.
It's supposed to be a British thing because the only other person I know living over there bought them all too. Gary
Really?
Diaz. Yeah, he's got the full set.
Huh.
Oh dear. Yeah, I had to import my Mario Odyssey ones from Japan just to complete the set.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's quite the
So
collection.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. If they refresh that Pro controller, I'll be very interested because right now I think that's the best controller out of all 3 of the consoles. I like it the
100%.
best.
It's honestly my favorite controller of all time now.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I really like it. I wish I could use it.
That's
on
the
a
one that
PC.
launched?
I'm sure there is a way.
The one that launched with the Switch?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I used that for Breath of the Wild. It was good. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah,
It's very
Yeah, it's a
comfortable.
I
really
think
good
the nice thing
controller.
about it is like it's got the similar like layout to the Xbox controller, but it's got the nice tactile feel for buttons. I feel like the Xbox controller has great layout and comfort, but like where it lacks is like the ABXY, like they're a little bit squishy, whereas the Switch controller basically has all of that. It has the nice layout, the nice feel, good triggers, and
Yeah, good
perfect buttons,
D-pad.
especially especially
Yeah.
for fighting games and stuff. So
Yeah, nice feel to it. Like I really like it.
Nice.
yeah,
It was expensive though.
yeah,
It wasn't it like $70 or something like that.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nintendo products, man, they got like a premium on that stuff.
Yeah. That's true.
It's because they're made of pure fun. That's they condense fun. They just inject it into
Fueled
plastic.
by fun. Got it. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If they had made like a couple of small tweaks to this thing, it'd make it so much more interesting to me too. Like the fact that you can't hook it up to a dock and play it on TV kind of stinks. So like if you're a multiple Switch household, like it'd be nice. Like it's got that USB-C port on the bottom, but apparently like the electronics to like send a video out to that was like beyond the beyond the scope of $200 product.
Yeah, I guess there's a lot of things like that that kind of put me on the I like there's no reason for me to like grab one of these. You know?
Yeah.
Like even when it comes to the portability, I'd rather just use my Switch. But
Yeah.
Fair.
What's next? What do we